Hey, I'm Brian Barano, and I'm the student pastor at First Baptist Enterprise. And right now, today, it was supposed to be the baccalaureate service that we have every year for the graduates at Hillcrest at 4 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. However, we're still going to give you something. So I'm not the guy that was supposed to preach this year. And I'm usually just one of the guys, me and Andy Sibley, the student pastor over at Hillcrest, we're the guys that normally help coordinate everything and get everything together. But we wanted to give you something. So today, I wanted to talk about a verse that is probably one of the most used verses ever, and it's Jeremiah 29:11, but a lot of people use it out of context. And it says this: "For I know the plans that I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a future and a hope." And a lot of people use that, like they'll quote that before a football game or even quote that at graduation. But the problem is a lot of people have no idea of the context that verse was written in. And it was a situation that has some similarities to the one that we're in. You know, with COVID-19 and things being thrown out of whack and not happening in the correct schedule. You know, you see like school being canceled and spring sports and prom and even graduation, all of those things either not happening or having to be done in a different way. It's a very uncertain and difficult time for a lot of us. You know, there are some of your parents and people that possibly have been laid off or furloughed or people that are still working but not working as much, and just the uncertainty of all of this. And when Jeremiah was talking to God, and God told Jeremiah this, the context of the nation of Israel was this was a time of difficulty and uncertainty for them. Like their country had been conquered, that exiles had been taken to another country, and their country was in ruins, and they weren't certain what was going to happen because things were completely different than they had ever been. And this was God speaking to them as a people and saying, I've got you. I've got this. I knew this was going to happen, and I'm still in control. Now, I realize there's a lot of you watching this video that don't believe in God or don't believe even the same thing I believe, but I will say this. I believe that even in all the uncertainty, you know, around graduation and all of the things that have had to change or be canceled in the midst of this, I believe that God has this. I believe as you move forward in life as graduates, you are finishing your high school career and you are moving on. Some of you are moving on to go to college. Some of you are moving on to jobs. Some of those colleges are local. Some of them are not. I believe that God has this. I believe that God has a plan and a purpose for your life. I believe that God has a future for you and a hope. And I pray that even in the midst of all this uncertainty, that you would find your future and your hope in Jesus Christ, because he died for your sins on the cross, and he was raised 3 days later to go and prepare a place for you in heaven. So no matter what happens here on earth, no matter what happens with COVID, no matter what happens with graduation and prom and all of these things, no matter what, God has a future and a hope for you if you will give your life to him.